So let's take a look at another example. David. 1 Samuel 17. So who's David? Remember when Samuel came to anoint the next king of Israel. And he came in and he thought for sure when he saw the 6 sons standing there, he surely thought it would be Eliab, I believe it was. He was the tallest. He was taller than Elma. He was good looking. He was everything that he thought you should be to be the king. Maybe to be a politician. But Samuel said, I don't look at the outside, I look at the inside. This is not in your notes in case you're looking for it. So let's go to verse 28. Now Eliab, his eldest brother. So I kind of think as you listen, before you read this, I kind of wonder, this is just the way I read things and I think about things. He had a little bit of a grudge against David. Why wasn't I the one? I should have been the one chosen. I should have been the one that was anointed. Now Eliab, his eldest brother, heard when he spoke to the men. Okay, I need to set this up. What was he speaking to the men? So the situation was that Goliath would come out and he would threaten, he would challenge the children of Israel. And he'd tell them to bring out their champion and to fight him. And whoever would win this battle, would win the war. But of course Goliath was 10 feet tall and nobody even dared. They all cowered at his sight. And David was coming through there and he was talking to other people. Who is this guy? What's going on? Why is everybody afraid of him? He was a Caleb. So back now to this comments he's making. He says, why have you come here? Eliab's anger was kindled against David. And he said, why have you come down? And with whom have you left those few sheep in the wilderness? In other words, he's putting a little dig in there. Shouldn't you be back there just minding those little sheep? I know your presumption and the evil in your heart, for you have come down to see the battle. You're just being nosy. You're just out here wanting to see what's going on. And David said, what have I done now? Was it not but a word? And as he turned away from him toward another and spoke in the same way, and the people answered him again as before. When the words that David spoke were heard, they repeated them before Saul, and he sent for him. And David said to Saul, let no man's heart fail because of him. Your servant will go and fight with the Philistine. So you see how David looked at himself. He said, I'll go out and fight this guy. And what does Saul say to David? He said, you're not able to go against this Philistine to fight with him. You're but a youth. And he has been a man of war from his youth. You're too young. You're like a grasshopper in his sight. You can't do this. But David said to Saul, he said, your servant used to keep sheep for his father. And when there came a lion or a bear and took a lamb from the flock, I went after him and I struck him and delivered it out of his mouth. And if he rose up against him, I caught him by the beard and struck him and killed him. Can you hear the faith talking out of him? So your servant has struck down both lions and bears. And he said, this uncircumcised Philistine shall be just like one of them, for he has defied the armies of the living God. Glory to God. And David said, the Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and from the paw of the bear will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine. And because of his words, and because of what David said, and Saul said to David, go, and the Lord be with you. Now, I think sometimes I see this story maybe differently than others do. A 17 or 18-year-old kid comes to him and says, I will fight this mammoth giant. And the king allowed him. Think about that. I'm in charge of this whole a group of people, an army. And I'm going to let an 18-year-old boy go out and fight him. So his words must have been so strong that Saul even believed it. Or maybe Saul was just too afraid. But you understand, he talked the king into allowing him to go out and fight that Philistine. To me, that's a miracle as much as anything. Because if you're in charge of people, you've got to be responsible for what you're doing.